Hello and welcome to the Reference Point Podcast. I am your host Paulo, and today I am joined by my two average co-hosts, Anthony and Matthew, as well as our very special guest, the sensational Spider Lou.
Ooh. What up, guys?
Today we're going to be talking about X-Men 97, episodes 5 to the end. So, what do we think?
Amazing. Spectacular.
Friendly neighborhood?
I wasn't here for the first half of this season, and I'm going to tell you right away my opinion on that quickly before I segue into this. What an incredible start to this season, and I couldn't have pictured a better way to wrap up this season in the second half. This show is absolutely outstanding. Loved it.
Did you say it's the best cartoon in the last 10 years?
Definitely one of the best cartoons in the last 10 years.
No, this show was extraordinary. It's like I said for the first half, the second half did not disappoint at all. Mm-hmm. What a perfect follow-up to a great first half. I'd argue maybe even better.
Arguably. Because there was no Jubilee.
Jubilee did not get stuck in a video game this time. I like that episode still, regardless. Even though we're slandering it.
It's fun. It's like 90s, like...
Definitely.
Filler episode. It's like the equivalent of Goku and Piccolo learning how to drive. It's fun. It's just there.
Yeah, but
fun.
You can't have filler episodes when you're 10 episodes a season. Shows used to be 23 to 25 episodes. You could have a couple of fillers here and there. 10 episodes, you gotta get straight to the point sometimes.
Yeah, but if you're doing like a 90s revival thing, you can have a bit of the filler to make it feel like, oh yeah, look at us, we're it's a fun Saturday morning cartoon again.
I probably said this last episode, but I thought the whole show was just going to be that, and it wasn't, and I am so happy. Mm-hmm. Wow, thank God. This show blew me away.
The combination of how they took so many different storylines, yes, and they introduced them episode by episode, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to go with House of M. Oh no, they're going to go for E for Extinction, and then they just keep switching it up. You think, oh, Madeline Pryor. That's what the series is going to be about. Nope.
Nope, she did.
They managed to juggle all these different major comic storylines with such finesse, such ease, while remaining faithful to those stories, at least in spirit, understanding the very core essence of those stories, and managing to blend them all together in such a brilliantly written way. This show is just like on another level in terms of its script. I think the art style itself is absolutely extraordinary. I think the animation as well. I appreciate what they were going for that a little bit more kind of like staticky sort of, kind of like Spider-Verse a little bit level animation where it's kind of skips a few frames.
It looks a little clunky at points.
Seamless, yeah. But I don't know. I felt it added a lot to the charm. So that continues throughout the second half, and I think some of the outstanding, action that we get, the way it's just depicted, like imagine this were in live action. This would be like the craziest thing ever.
Nah, I think it's better that it's a cartoon. Not everything. No, but has to be live action.
I agree. But just imagine if we got this level of quality somehow depicted in live action.
No, we only got black leather costumes in live action. We're not gonna have, God forbid, a blue costume.
But then they still managed to make a joke about what were you expecting? A black leather? Or something?
Yeah, that was a good comment. I like that.
A direct jab at the first Bryan Singer X-Men film where they said, what were you expecting? Yellow spandex? Yeah.
Did you know that Sinister was able to do a 360-degree turn in this series now? In the old series, he couldn't turn. They had to always frame him forward, and they can never make him do the full turn. But in this one, they got him to do.
They're flexing the animation evolution with him turning.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Seeing how well it flowed, and rewatching the old series, it doesn't feel the same. But
oh boy,
I feel watching this series is how I see the old series in my mind. When I'm thinking of rewatching them, I see it as that clear animation.
This level, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not.
I had
Don't go back to it.
I had never, with great clarity in my mind, really remembered the show X-Men the Animated Series from the 90s from A to Z. I really remembered the first season very vividly.
Yeah.
Because that was the one that I watched a lot as a kid. I had them like burned on a DVD or something like that.
The bootlegs.
Bootlegs, of course. But then I really wanted to rewatch that whole series before getting into this one. And I will say, Uncle Lou's probably going to hate me a lot on this one. I was struggling a little bit to kind of get through the whole thing because it's a lot. It is a lot. And I know, I'm so sorry. He's right now, for our audio-only listeners, he's clutching at his chest right now. He's about to have a heart attack.
He broke his heart.
He's about to end up like Uncle Ben.
It's still a phenomenal show. I really, really appreciate it. I just think, when you're not necessarily in the mood to watching something, the show is a little bit much. But this show, 97, the way it's paced, executed, it feels so mature, but it feels like a genuine continuation of that in the best possible way. I don't know, man. It just this blows away, in my opinion, the animated series. Like not even close.
It felt like a natural evolution of that show, but I find that they made the best season of the show.
Literally, yeah.
Marvel Studios did it and made the best season of the X-Men animated show, which I never in a million years would have predicted, because the only other animated show they made was What If, and that wasn't the best season of anything.
Oh, yeah. Look, I don't know much about the X-Men. You know, I the comics, I haven't really dived that deep into it. The movies, I'm not really all that interested in them. But overall, like, I really did have a good time with this show, and I feel like it's a really good starter for the X-Men. Like, I felt like I was understanding more the mythos around them. I felt like I was getting to know each character and what they're supposed to be like. And, you know, based on, like, the old knowledge I have from, like, you know, the older animated shows that I caught here and there, and then, like, the animated shows that are more for our generation, I feel it's very much one of those shows that's gonna be iconic in a sense, where it'll have a lot of staying power and be remembered as one of those greats rather than falling to the wayside.
Anyone who hasn't watched the series could still watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
They could still... Other people who understand the overall characters and the plot lines where they may be going, like all of us at this table have done, we're probably sitting there, oh my god, it's them! Oh my god! Oh my...
Mr. Sinister, no way!
But other people could still look back and go, that's a great story. Oh, I really liked how they did that.
So, shall we jump into spoilers?
Let's jump right into spoilers. Let's start with episode 6, where we left off with the last ref point episode. Life Death Part 2. Man, this was... I've never actually read the Life Death comic storyline.
Same.
Have you, Anthony?
But in like high school a long time ago.
Okay. From my understanding, it was
pretty accurate.
It is faithful to that, again, in the best possible way.
It's like it really shows you the psyche of a superhero. Like, it's like one of the first books to ever dive deep into that and what it means to be a hero and what it means to the person who's actually a hero.
I did really, really appreciate seeing that, diving deeper, like you said, into the psyche of the character. I do think overall it is one of the weaker episodes, but there isn't a weak episode in the show. You know what I mean? It's just the other ones are just probably on another level. But I loved exploring that. I really did. And seeing Storm's triumphant return at the very end with gaining her powers back also was just what a moment. Like,
reintroducing Professor Xavier and like slowly giving us drips of what he's been doing, what kind of life he's been living, what he's had to go through, being treated almost like a pet instead of even a human. Where on Earth, yes, he was a mutant and he was treated as a second-class citizen, still treated as a citizen.
Right.
Where they're treating him more as the person that lives under a table to eat the scraps.
Right. I love seeing the politics of that culture.
The Shi'ar Empire episode.
That was Empire. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. That was. Was anyone surprised by Professor X being alive? And
I was shocked.
No.
That was so caught me off guard.
They treated him like a second-class citizen,
right.
And he was accepting of that. He's just taking it and going like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then they're like, okay, well, you have to delete your X-Men from your mind.
Exactly.
The things that kind of made you who you are and took you to a place you are to get to being a part of our empire. Without the X-Men, he wouldn't be Professor Xavier. He wouldn't even really be a part of the Shi'ar Empire. Like, come on.
Right.
No kidding.
But
he just couldn't do it. And I think that whole episode, just in terms of character development, even though, it's a bit on the pacing side, it's a bit on the slower side, but it's fine. You need these necessary character beats, because when he ends up coming back later, crash landing, we'll talk about that, but when he ends up crash landing into the X-Mansion, it just makes that moment all the better.
No,
you get that really good build-up.
It's when he calls upon all the smart ones and he goes, "To me, my X-Men." That's like, oof. I love that saying, "To me, my X-Men." That's sick, man.
He calls upon he calls Beast, he calls upon Scott, he calls upon Jean, and he calls upon Storm.
Yeah.
That's why I said the smart ones.
What the hell happened to Jubilee and Rogue?
They're not the smart ones.
I don't know.
Neither is Morph.
Rogue's into Magnus all of a sudden, so not all of a sudden.
Yeah, I spoke about that last time.
They have a history.
Jean Grey 2, the Marvel Girl outfit. I was like, yes.
That too, yeah.
Marvel Girl, that's what I wanted.
Say something. All these costume changes, loved it. It worked.
They gave us a little bit of hint to the later episode where they
Yes.
all went back. Not
Yes.
just Storm. It was all of them going back to the classics.
Yes.
The Wolverines, Scott.
Wolverine, yeah, with the brown costume. That's Anthony's favorite Wolverine costume.
It's a sick costume.
It is
It's
a cool costume. But
so
but yeah,
sick.
no, look, like at the end of the episode, like Storm's triumphant return, flying through the air, just what a profound. It really reminded me a lot of
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, yeah, Superman's first flight in that film, which was a really great moment. Despite what
Mhm.
people think about the movie, I might have problems with it, but I think everyone could unanimously agree that was a really amazing moment. It reminded me a lot of that Storm's sequence. So yeah, man, amazing.
So, episode 7, we start off strong with a certain funeral. If you haven't seen episode 1,
Oh, it's the spoiler section. I hope. I really hope you've seen episode 5. But Gambit's funeral, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that was really, really touching. Very poignant, beautiful. I didn't give my thoughts on Gambit's death. That was incredibly shocking. I low-key had it spoiled, actually.
Oh,
I
really?
was less surprised.
Why did you watch a Ref Point episode before you watched it?
No, I didn't.
SMH.
Yeah, I didn't. But someone was like, "Oh no, Gambit on YouTube," and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm guessing he's dead."
yeah, now the YouTube the f***ing titles all say the spoiler in the title.
Pretty much, or like have horrible like thumbnails, just like Spider-Man. It's like, well, thanks, like-
Or it's like, hey, look, a dead Gambit in the thumbnail. I wonder what happens to him.
But yeah, no, that was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, I really liked the way the funeral was handled and everything. It was a strong start to the episode where I'm like, ooh, they're really committing to this. Gambit's really dead for real.
It was also an introduction to some old characters they brought in the old series. Where
Yeah.
The Cajun days or Gambit's little crew.
Yeah.
That was
Will I am.
But yeah, then Rogue. Everyone's like, "Where's Rogue? Why isn't she here? How could she not be here? He loves her." And then you just see her tearing up shit, dealing with grief in a very different kind of way. Really trying to seek vengeance for Gambit's death, and some really great stuff. We saw General Ross.
Yeah.
That was people forget about that one. General Ross was there. We get a really, really awesome Captain America cameo. Did not see that one coming.
Voiced by, well, I think I said it last time, but so you didn't watch the episode for real. Voiced by Josh Keaton.
Josh Keaton voiced Captain.
Yeah, the Spectacular Spider-Man voiced him, which I was like,
Didn't know that.
yeah, which he also voiced him in What If, which is pretty funny. I find he's such a good voice actor. He killed it as Captain America.
Love Josh Keaton. Love.
That-
Watching, you're not watching. I love you. You're the best.
And now I'm just gonna say it. They made Captain America a bit too by the book.
Yeah, I want to comment on that.
I didn't love the way they made him such a Boy Scout.
Is he a really Boy Scout? Because what he does
No, he's
later on
not.
with the protocol, is that really a Boy Scout?
It depends. Is this pre-Civil War Captain America or post-Civil War
the
Captain
thing,
Post.
they made Captain America too. I don't know how to say it, but like
Boy Scout?
He's a Boy Scout. Like
no,
he says, we gotta do this by the book.
it was to me. It was written by someone who probably has a bit of contempt for Captain America
Kinda
and
like
what he
Frank Miller.
represents, but not but not actually knowing.
Frank Miller for Superman.
Frank Miller for Superman, kind of like that.
Basically, like
It was a very basic idea of Cap, and I'm kind of like, they could have nailed that a bit better. But it's also one scene, so I'm not gonna cry on the internet about it. I've already probably spoken about it too much. So.
I love when Rogue takes his shield and freaking yeets it across the.
No, she like.
You know they
Miles.
added the sound, the shield sound from the movies,
There you go.
Yeah.
and we see the X-Men cross the line for the first time is by the killing of Trask and the full introduction of one of our leading antagonists, which you talked about
Yeah.
in the first review.
Nick nailed it. It was
Yeah.
Bastion the whole time. He was running the show.
Nick thought that Bastion was.
Yeah, and he
Nick is
nailed
our
it.
Friend, by the way, we've mentioned him a couple times on the show.
Yeah, shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nick.
And some of the X-Men agreeing, like Wolverine saying it like pretty much had to be done.
He said, "Rip Bozo."
But by
Screw that
her
guy.
crossing the line, Bastion was kind of expecting it, and he prevented it. Like he put the Sentinel protocol into the Trask, and look what happened. They went down with a fight, and then returned. Here comes back Cable, just to be like, hey, Daddy.
What an awesome villain plot, by the way. It just felt so grand and epic.
The whole Sentinels just so caught me off guard with being like inside humans and whatnot. I was like, what? This is so random, like so different.
Yeah.
is that? A
But I
thing?
liked
'Cause
it.
That really like threw me off.
Yeah.
I was
It is.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay.
But it's also, if you go back to the first series in season 1, that was Master Mold's main plan. He wanted to replace all the brains of all politicians across the world with computers.
That's so sick.
Competent.
And his later version, with Nimrod and Master Mold into Bastion, they upgraded the idea. They upgraded with time, and they came up with this thing of why put just a computer in their brain? Why not make them the computer? Why not make them the machine? Human bodies are already machines, so we're a few steps away, and he did it. He created small nanobytes and created people into machines.
Speaking of Bastion too, look, our episode of the Ref Point podcast isn't every Easter egg you missed. There's really, really great videos on YouTube for that. But
no, it is. Watch our videos.
But to quickly shout out like the level of detail and care and attention that this show has for the animated series and just the comics. I really love how for Bastion's parents, those are two people who we saw originally in X-Men the animated series. Two random background characters or like people.
They had like one
roles.
scene, I think.
Yeah, you know, and tying it directly to that, it really elevates the lore, and it's just so, it feels so rich, and it's just like Bo DeMeo, who was the showrunner on the show, the showrunner and the executive producer.
Yeah, head writer.
And head writer as well, who was fired from the show. We still don't really know why. He must have done something really bad, but
To be fired before premieres, that can't be good, bro.
good. Look, for now, I'm gonna praise him. For
You forgive him for the thing you don't know he did. Good job, buddy.
This man is absolutely brilliant. I am low-key sad that he's no longer attached to.
Watch it be something really.
It's gonna be something really bad.
It's bad,
really,
so
really bad.
we're gonna
working on it, so still have faith that it's gonna go in the right direction.
I really hope.
Look-
so. But this, props to you, Mr. DeMeo. Seriously, like, wow.
I think though they set up a really good for the following episode, because we're talking about episode 7, and that was the beginning of Eve, the three-part tie. So tolerance is extinction.
Yeah.
The first part of that. It was just the beginning of the end.
Literally though.
Yeah.
Well, we got the whole context of like Bastion in episode 7. We got like what he predicted, and he saw the future. Maybe we'll get more of that, because there was a little bit of thing in the hinting, and I don't know if you guys caught it in episode 10 what he was doing, like once he became his final form.
Game like a bird thing.
Yeah.
The vulture, Michael
Cyclops,
Keaton.
At one point in that, I think it was that episode, literally does the "I'm firing my laser" video on YouTube. That I'm firing my laser.
Or something more relevant. Marvel vs. Capcom. I felt very much like that. Like you unleashed like a super combo.
Totally.
Yeah. Not a 2005 meme.
Was the split between the two X-Men families. Like some of them were going with Magneto.
X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue. Oh no, that's later on. We're talking about
Wolverine. I know what you did with my wife.
You skadooshed his wife, but no, that's not the point. We were talking about the first split, which is when Rogue and Sunspot join Magneto.
Yeah.
Where when I saw that, I'm kind of like, why is Sunspot joining Magneto? This is kind of sudden. This is kind of out of nowhere. It's like, okay, his mom was kind of mean to him, but why is he joining Magneto?
I bought it.
I agree.
I bought it, but like I was kind of just like, I feel like we didn't get enough of Sunspot for me to like. Rogue, I like fully understood. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. That makes sense. She just loves old people, and she loves a nice Sunday special. So
she takes
So that's going to bed at 5 p.m.
yeah,
takes advantage of that senior citizens discount.
100%.
We did forget something though, guys.
What did we forget?
What did we forget? Spider-Man.
In episode 7, who do we get?
Nightcrawler. Spider-Man.
We did get Spider-Man.
Yeah, we got Spider-Man.
Nightcrawler was
Spider-Man.
5, I'm sorry.
We got Spider-Man.
We got Spider-Man.
We got a glimpse of Spider-Man, and not even the creator of Spider-Man knew he was going to be in the show.
Yeah, not even Christopher Daniel Barnes, the voice actor, knew he was in the show.
Yeah, he knew he was in the show.
No, he did not know.
Oh, he did not know.
He did not know.
He
went on Twitter and said, "Yeah, guys, I didn't know. Don't rely on a revival for me. Nobody's called me."
That's why they didn't do any voice acting for the character.
100%.
He appears more than once, but
Twice.
yeah, they never do any lines for him. They just show him.
Right.
But they never actually give him. Maybe because they didn't get like full rights of agreement yet. Marvel, have that conversation.
Marvel needs to do a Spider-Man 98 revival show.
Why?
Like, if you could see how genuinely hyped people are just seeing the character on screen.
People were
in this
freaking out on
people were
Twitter.
going crazy. Again, I would love to say that I was surprised by this, but it got spoiled in a thumbnail.
I was surprised by it.
But like, oh my god, I would have lost my shit.
I was surprised when I saw it on Twitter and said, "Damn, I have to watch the episode tonight," but he's in it.
You know, so I loved seeing him. Was that also the episode where you see all the
seven samurai, or sorry,
Silver Samurai.
Silver Samurai, but you see
Yeah.
like Doctor Doom, Baron Zemo.
Yeah, you see-
No,
saw Dr. Doom.
is earlier.
Yeah,
Is earlier. Okay,
but
well,
it's in
Dr.
that
Doom-
episode.
Oh, you're right, because
It's-
he's talking to them. Even Doctor Doom doesn't agree with the genocide.
He's like, "You suck, buddy. I ain't joining you."
And the fact that we have now all these creative liberty, or the team has all these creative liberties to just really dive deep into the Marvel universe and start pulling all their favorite characters who could tie into the story. It's great because of rights issues in the past or complications or whatever. You couldn't necessarily do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now, just throw Doctor Doom in there for a cameo. Why not? It works. It's great. It is.
Baron Zemo's there. He's like, "Yo, it's me, Zemo."
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Should we censor him? I mean, reveal his identity.
Wow. The
Welcome,
real
Uncle
Spider-Man.
Lou. I really thought we were talking with the real Spider-Man.
I thought it was Uncle Ben.
It's just Uncle Louie.
Anyways, so what were we talking about? Baron Zemo, Doctor Doom.
Yeah, cameos. Whatever.
I love cameos.
And you know, there's a certain asteroid that begins with the letter M that we need to address.
And only the letter M.
Yes. So what I loved about Asteroid M is that again they found a really really great creative way to bring that back. Last we had seen of Asteroid M, I don't remember the season, but basically crash lands into the ocean, and seeing Magneto lift that out from the ocean and bring that back into this show, I think was brilliant.
Magneto was right, boys. Magneto was right. He's been right since the beginning, and he's been right now. He is right.
Well, he declared war, so that whole episode was.
Do you blame him?
The whole.
Do you blame him? I don't blame him.
Magneto like blacking out the world.
Awesome.
Awesome. Like, and you really take for granted just how powerful of a mutant Magneto is.
Omega level.
Omega level.
Like Santa Claus.
But
Exactly.
he could really like destroy everything if he wanted to.
But he doesn't.
And he did. Yeah, he did want to. Just wow.
Well, if he didn't, I think we would have seen the progression of Bastion Sentinels faster. But we would have saw that at the beginning of episode 8, so he had to prevent that from happening faster.
We needed Magneto. We needed him. He saved us. Or
You
did
can't take the Professor Xavier way. No. It's
Nah.
Team M.
You gotta fight. Fight for your right to party.
I don't know. I'm like, Magneto also probably killed millions of people
He
in
did.
the process.
People did die. People did die. Even Bo DeMeo confirmed it on Twitter.
That's a shame.
anyone who was in a plane
Damn.
dead.
What if
Anyone who had
what if they had Tom Hanks as Sully landing that plane? I think they would have made it.
I mean, this series is going from basically 1 to 100 really quickly, and that really shows with the last 2 episodes, episode 9 and 10, right?
Yeah.
Perfect two-parter episode to talk about together because
It's the
with
only
a
way.
really incredible cliffhanger in the middle of them.
Oh my god.
But this whole finale just feels so insanely epic and grand in scale. I couldn't be happier with everything.
They carefully wrapped up the story with Mr. Sinister, and they're gonna move on to something bigger. And I
Yes.
think that bigger
Yeah.
really is kind of seen with, I think personally, Magneto and a certain Egyptian that showed up at the end.
These 2 episodes were so good, so awesome. I just want to say, I just gotta get right into this. Wolverine stabs Magneto, and
Magneto's dead.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, they did that.
Mhm.
And then about 5 seconds later, they're like, no, we're gonna do something a little cooler. Magneto rips the metal out of Wolverine, and I'm sitting on my couch like, what is going on? There's no way. When I saw that in an animated show, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And I always wanted to see that in live action. Now we got it animated. Still great,
But it also makes me respect Magneto even more because he always could have done that.
Yeah.
It just took Wolverine literally attempting to murder him.
He's like,
to go, you know what? Screw this.
no more metal for you, bud.
You know what I mean? So even more mad respect for this Omega level threat villain.
It's what an awesome scene, and though Oh, I just.
Charles was like, bro, what?
He's like, Charles, I don't know, put it back, buddy. How do you put?
I think what they're gonna do is Wolverine in Japan. I really think that's the direction we're heading because you got so many little nods to Silver Samurai, right?
Little nods. We saw him.
Yeah, okay, we saw him.
He didn't speak, so it's a nod.
Sure. But you know, you have all these characters being split up. You know, you got Egypt, you got present day, you know, whatever. Anyway, so I think a different location would be Japan. We haven't ever seen this adapted, right, in the animated series, have we?
They did one episode.
One tiny little episode.
Yeah.
Still, I think maybe. What if he's in like feudal Japan? How cool would that be? Like he gets transported back in
They
time.
do
I
like
think
in
that would be super
the Wolverine.
yeah,
movie.
like a storyline.
That'd be
like
awesome.
you know? I think that would be really cool. But yeah, man, and I really love what they do in these 2 episodes here with between Magnus and Charles.
Yeah. The conversation that opens episode 10 was like, I'm watching this and like, this is riveting. It's really engaging, and like, just even when it picks up later on, and I'm watching this like, man, this is some good writing. It's really well done, and they really nailed the relationship between the two.
Yes.
In this series, which is something we didn't really get too much in the first 9 episodes. Then the 10th, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna flex a little bit and show that we know these 2 guys. And they nailed it, in my opinion. I loved what they did.
But they revealed a few things in there, like when you see the boat with
Yes.
Rogue and the 3 other people.
His kids.
3 other people, not 2. He has 2 kids we all know of very well, Scarlet Witch and Pietro.
Quicksilver.
But then there's the 3rd one that not many people know of.
Polaris.
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 Who has the same powers as
49.
Magneto.
I think 49.
It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, she's a really underutilized character. So seeing her, even though if it's just like a shadow or whatever, I'm like, oh, cool, finally a bit of Polaris. But you know, hopefully they use her next season. But
Speaking of cameos, since we're on the topic,
who doesn't love cameos?
how many cameos did we see in that last episode between Mary Jane,
Peter
and
Parker.
Peter Parker standing
The
in front?
Fantastic Four.
Captain
America.
The Fantastic
Iron
Four
Man.
is a kind of like a robbery because it wasn't really Mr. Fantastic. It was Morph being Mr. Fantastic.
I counted.
I really like seeing Iron Man in that.
Iron Man in the 90s outfit.
Like,
Awesome.
that's
Omega Red showed up.
Rip 2 straight
Crimson
from
Dynamo.
Crimson Dynamo.
Alpha Flight.
Puck.
Puck.
Psylocke. Sometimes they're kind of like, oh, this movie or this show is kind of garbage, so just throw something they'll recognize and they'll clap, right?
Yeah.
This, it like,
It worked. Because
It worked.
It was literally an apocalypse setting, but
yeah.
and it's all the Marvel heroes like coming out to help, and it's cool because it's like
Daredevil.
how they would react.
Daredevil.
Oh, you
Cloak
did-
and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger,
Cloak
yeah.
and Dagger.
Daredevil, man.
You mentioned Daredevil. Oh my god.
Daredevil ate at a point.
Classic Daredevil getting a beating, bro. That's my guy.
I do want to mention though, I do think using Phoenix is a little bit of a cop out. It's
I get where you're coming from.
It's a
Okay.
little bit of a cop out because she came out of nowhere, she did her thing, and then she disappears and there's no more
And-
Phoenix power. Because if she was still around, she would have taken out Bastion, no problem. He was not expecting her. He's not prepared for someone as strong as her, some cosmic being from outside of anything that he knows on the world. It's such a cop out.
And then she even goes like, "Oh, it's gone now. Don't worry."
Exactly.
Doesn't it always still lay dormant with
I forgave the reasoning in that they said, "Oh, you know, she needed it to save her son." So I'm like, okay, I see, because it is dormant and whatnot. But like, I can't. I'm not gonna fault you for saying it's a cop out, cause
But
a little bit.
But to counter that, the moment that we got with Jean and Scott telling their son Nathan Cable
Incredible.
just how much they love them, that might be top 3 favorite moments in this whole show that doesn't involve action. Let's just say.
It was incredible.
It was such a beautiful scene.
And following up that scene with I'm firing my laser, like you were saying before,
of course.
but you see like the tears coming out of his eyes as he's doing it. I'm like, this is incredible. This is what I paid good money to watch, and by pay good money I mean my Disney Plus subscription. Incredible.
Before that even happened, though, did you guys notice that in Magneto Protocol, how everything was laid out? We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
They had names.
Yeah.
Ian. They had
Michael Fassbender, but it was like scratched
and
out.
Then they had the original voice actor who did.
Yeah.
But on the stats, it was laid out the same way stats are laid out on the old Marvel trading cards.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
It's such a funny detail. Like putting all the actors who's played him, then the Marvel card stats. I'm like, this is killer.
I was rewatching
I love
it.
that.
I paused it and saw, and I went mental. I feel like this whole final episode was just filled with not only nostalgia because of the cameos, but the story, the wrapping up of everything, but also giving us a little bit more, or wanting to give us a little bit more.
Right.
What did we think of the ending, guys? What did we think?
I was beyond ecstatic with the ending.
Oh, so happy.
It's I don't think I fully understand why they got sent back in time.
No, nobody does.
I like that it was just very much felt like a big like what the is going on.
Yeah.
What I do dislike about this show is just how good it is, and I don't know how
We're scared I hate something that's great.
how a live action MCU X-Men film could really top this and the legacy that preceded this.
But we say this now, and then like the movie will come out, and we'll be like, "Wow, it was so good, guys! It topped it."
I think the MCU throwing in all these themes, literal at times with the X-Men '97 theme, like the you know, like
Copyright.
them actually using that in the MCU, like in Ms. Marvel and the after credits scene of the Marvels, where you see Beast, you know,
And
it's like
Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness.
and yeah, so it's like it leads me to believe, like, do they actually want to make this X-Men '97 continuity be the main MCU X-Men
No.
I
continuity?
really hope.
Then it'd be live action if they didn't want it.
I think it's an interesting idea. Whatever they end up doing is probably going to be the right choice, but it just, like, I don't know how the movies are ever really going to top this.
I think they did a really good setup for the next season, though. That between
Yeah.
all the storylines, like you said, that they're giving us a series, so to give us more time to give more content.
Yes.
And more per character. So now we have 3 different stories. Is it 3? 3 different
Yeah.
stories. We have the present day, we have the past,
And
we have the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for all 3.
Same.
It's gonna be wild. With the present, you have possible death with Gambit and Apocalypse,
Yes.
and then you got
Based
the
on that
past.
after credit scene tease with the Gambit's card. And
He's gonna become a 4-horseman.
Yeah. Then you have the past with Young Apocalypse and the rest of the X crew, and then you have the future with the Summer family.
Probably Apocalypse again.
Apocalypse gonna show up. He's probably the villain, guys.
It is. I think the second season is going to be Age of Apocalypse focused.
Very likely.
Yeah.
It makes sense, especially with them showing Rachel Summers. Well, what they called her, the Akani or
The Akari clan or something.
yeah. So but she's Rachel Summers, which shows that she's been raising Nathan since he was a baby, which is really weird because
Bit trippy.
she's technically his sister from another timeline where he doesn't exist.
Huh.
Yeah.
And she's been split in the comics. She's split. She's split between 2 different timelines. Half of her sense of the past, 100 years after Apocalypse runs the world, and then half of her sense of the future. So what are we gonna get for this series? We'll
Yeah.
find out.
That's not complicated.
Yeah.
Good luck putting that on a family tree, am I right? I just hope they bring the season quick, soon, fast. I'm ready for it. I could watch it tomorrow if I could. I'm ready.
But take the time you need to make it as good as possible.
Make it good.
Without too much time, maybe. Because we're eager.
I am quite eager.
And there's a thing of just being able to live up to the hype. The longer you make it us wait, it's just you're gonna create these unrealistic expectations, and then it's just gonna fall flat with just the tiniest of imperfections.
100%.
So, I think that's a really great place to wrap up. Please let us know in the comments, what did you think of X-Men '97? Did you have a favorite episode? Did you have a favorite character, moment?
Did you love it? Hate it?
Did you want more Wolverine? Go watch a Fox movie, buddy.
That's true. Like, you know what? Wolverine has had enough screen time. Let's actually see the other ones.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So,
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And guys, do not forget to support your local comic book stores.